A gentleman recently came to me and said that he spoke to a tax attorney about putting together his offshore plan to save on tax. And the tax attorney proposed a rather straightforward solution, a rather simple solution, which is often the best solution. Except he said, Andrew, if I would have taken this guy's advice, I could have been sued into the Stone Age. I'll tell you why. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson, and here's the bottom line when it comes to setting up offshore. Obviously, the reason a lot of people set their companies up offshore is because they want to save on tax. I call it choose your own tax rate. So if you're living in the United States and you're paying upwards of 40% as an entrepreneur, and you can relocate the business and quite possibly yourself somewhere else to reduce that tax burden, then from there you can choose where you want to go and you can pay a far lower rate. But because this offshore stuff can be complex, there are folks out there who try and propose rather simple solutions. I'm all for very simple solutions. But what I understand is that tax isn't the only piece. Part of the benefit of going offshore is also having asset protection. Not that you're not going to act ethically, but you want to be protected from frivolous lawsuits and silliness that exists out there in the business world. So you want to have protection. You want to have your assets diversified. It's not just about the tax. That may be a big piece, but while you're doing it, you want the other benefits that come with being offshore as well. And so what happens when you call a tax attorney, for example, and say that you want an offshore solution? They're going to come to you from the perspective of how to save on tax. It's only normal. They're not necessarily going to think of asset protection. They're not going to touch on those things. But this particular gentleman said that he has people who there's a potential litigation risk in his business. He's playing by the rules, but he's worried that certain people are going to sue him. And so what the tax attorney proposed was a simple structure where, hey, do some banking in the United States, have an offshore flag of convenience, but don't actually use the offshore company for anything. This is a strategy similar to what I call the naked LLC, where certain types of people can use US LLCs in a tax-optimized way to run their businesses. Many people I see actually do it wrong, but in theory you can use a US LLC and you can do so in a tax-optimized way, or you can use a US LLC with a foreign company as well. So there are different strategies out there. But what happened, what the tax advisor told him was, well, why not just do all of your banking in the United States? Because that's simple, and who doesn't want to bank in the United States? And he said, well, I don't want to bank in the United States precisely because I'm worried about people who are in the US having the ability to easily sue me. Now, he's in kind of a unique business that wouldn't necessarily translate to most people watching, but let's talk about someone selling on e-commerce or Amazon or even an ebook where you're providing some kind of advice. Let's say you're in the health and fitness space, you're selling an ebook, or let's say you're selling a product that a child could choke on. You probably want some kind of asset protection plan to where you're not just banking in the United States where ambulance chasers can come after you with frivolous lawsuits. If you're going to go offshore, you might as well get all the benefits. Now let me be very clear. I am not an attorney. I'm not here to offer you advice on how to protect yourself from litigation other than to say, consider this. And when someone comes to me, I'm going to understand that simply doing all of your banking in the US, or in other cases, there are structures in the UK that you can have a similar effect with, that may be good operationally. It may be okay from a tax perspective, but is it okay from every perspective? And so this is an example that every piece of your offshore puzzle has to work together. Not only do I have what I call the offshore tax quadrant, where you have to figure out where you're going to be and where the company's going to be and where you're leaving and where you're arriving. That's the tax piece. But you want to consider all the stuff about the operations. Okay? If you're doing business outside of the United States, where a US bank may not be the best option. Do you want just a US bank or do you want just a UK bank? I tend to think that if you're going to go offshore, you want banking that's also offshore so that you're protected. And so it's a matter of checking off all the boxes and making sure you consider all the scenarios, not just tax, not just asset protection, not just any one thing. That's what you need someone who is going to help you figure out, is how do you check all the boxes, not just the tax one, if only checking the tax one causes other problems for you. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6- or 7-figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.